Donald Trump floated the possibility of regime change in Iran after an illegal military strike that was not authorized by Congress. Then, just minutes before this taping, he claimed there was a ceasefire in the war that he had just entered and that he refused to call a war, and that from now on, it should be called, quote, the 12-day war. And that's kind of the problem we're living in right now, where, like, we're trying to write stuff and then it's just changing. It's like trying to, like, pin the tail on a cloud that looks like a donkey. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. I'm not sure how many of you were around for the war in Iraq, but I was. Of course, everyone knows that, since I famously played Bush's opponent, John Kerry, on SNL. Classic! People are always coming up to me on the street asking me to do my Kerry. I mean, sure, everybody remembers Dana Carvey as Bush 1 saying not gonna do it. Will Ferrell as Bush 2 saying strategery. And me as John Kerry saying my famous John Kerry catchphrase, "My name is John Kerry." Anyway, the point is, if you were around for that, you might remember we were subjected to a nearly 18-month-long propaganda campaign of carefully orchestrated lies to justify the invasion of Iraq.
There's no question that the leader of Iraq is an evil man. We know he's been developing weapons of mass destruction.
There is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction.
No terrorist state poses a greater or more immediate threat to the security of our people than the regime of Saddam Hussein.
He has attempted to purchase high-strength aluminum tubes suitable for nuclear weapons production. High-strength aluminum tubes.
High-specification aluminum tubes. Smuggle aluminum tubes.
Equipment he needs to be able to enrich uranium. Aluminum tubes. Specifically aluminum tubes.
Oh my God, the aluminum tubes. These guys wouldn't be quiet about the aluminum tubes. I feel like I'm watching an episode of Breaking Bad where Walt explains all the equipment he needs to set up a meth lab. We need gas centrifuges, aluminum tubes, and a pork pie hat. Jesse Pinkman should be standing behind Bush yelling, "That's right, aluminum tubes, bitch!" Should I do my mic too? Yeah, let's do my mic. Walter, there are no aluminum tubes. Also, what does it even look like to smuggle aluminum tubes into a country? I can't even get through passport control without freaking out when they ask me if I'm importing any agricultural products. Now, in fairness, I do always make sure to stock up on eggs when I go abroad. I just got back from France, and that was the only thing I packed in my suitcase. The French customs agent said to me, "You can only keep one egg." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because one egg is enough." I'll tell you this. When you open up a carry-on full of eggs after a long trip, the yolk's on you. We're having fun, you guys. We're doing all the Breaking Bad characters. We got a bunch of egg puns. We're having fun. The world's upside down. We're having fun. By the way, no one remembers this, but there was also a whole bit in there about how Saddam was trying to get his hands on something even more nefarious than aluminum tubes.
Iraq is attempting to acquire magnets and high-speed balancing machines. Both items can be used in a gas centrifuge program to enrich uranium. Iraq wanted the plant to produce magnets weighing 20 to 30 grams. That's the same weight as the magnets used in Iraq's gas centrifuge program.
Oh my God, not magnets. Aluminum tubes, magnets, they got yarn. Magnets, were they going after Saddam Hussein or Wile E. Coyote? We understand that Saddam has also buried his nuclear enrichment facilities deep within a mountain and has disguised that mountain by painting a tunnel on the side of it. Thankfully, he can't access the tunnel without turning into a pancake. By the way, if they were so worried about Saddam's magnets, they should have just asked Trump for his advice.
They decided to use magnets. We're going to use magnets to lift up the elevators with 7 planes on them. Think of it, magnets. Now, all I know about magnets is this. Give me a glass of water. Let me drop it on the magnets. That's the end of the magnets.
You know, I really wish George W. Bush had taken Trump's advice. Tonight, I can report to the American people that we have successfully completed a mission to dump water on Saddam Hussein's magnets. That is the end of the magnets. To celebrate, I will be using our own American magnets to put a mission accomplished sign on my refrigerator. I put it right next to my favorite magnet, a pot full of boiling water with the words, Can't touch this. Anyway, the point is the propaganda campaign to manufacture a pretext for the war was long and relentless. Now let's see how Donald Trump laid the groundwork for his military intervention in the Middle East 3 days before the strikes.
I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
He's talking about himself like he's a loose neighborhood dog. Nobody knows what I'm going to do. Once I dig my way under the fence, it's anybody's guess what's going down, you know. I might just sleep on the porch, or I might run around the neighborhood terrorizing mail carrier on people's lawn. We don't know. Nobody knows. The Bush team manipulated and cherry-picked information to manufacture a false pretext for the war. Trump, on the other hand, openly contradicted his own intelligence director on camera in front of everyone.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
So, is she fired then? I mean, according to you, she's wrong about the single most consequential military decision of your presidency so far, and you're just gonna, what, let that slide? Also, what do you mean by who said that? She's your own intelligence director. Trump reacts like Carrie when the others confront her about an affair. I heard Biggs stopped by last night. Who told you that? Steve? Well, Steve is wrong. Oh, gosh, Carrie, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not trying to make trouble. I just thought I saw him going here. Oh my God. My impression battery is dead. A Mike and a Steve in the same closer look, baby. That's how you know it's going down. All of this has led to questions about whether the Trump team is even listening to its own intelligence experts. But J.D. Vance put that question to rest on Sunday.
Do you and President Trump trust the U.S. intelligence community and its assessments?
Oh, of course we trust our intelligence community, but we also trust our instincts.
Well, that puts me at ease. I'm glad we bombed a country based on instincts, especially the instincts of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, two of the weirdest human beings on the planet. I mean, when's the last time J.D. mishandled something and broke it, besides, you know, the college football trophy or the time he Grim Reapered the Pope, or that time he tried to order donuts and scared everyone into thinking he might be a serial killer? Remember, this is how the vice president picked donut flavors.
Just everything, yeah. I mean, a lot of glazed here, some sprinkle stuff, some of these cinnamon rolls, just whatever makes sense.
Whatever makes sense. It's a donut shop. It all makes sense. Is this what he was like when they were picking targets? I don't know, that mountain, maybe that factory over there. You know, whatever makes sense. But guys, I'm just kidding. JD wasn't there when they picked targets.
When did President Trump exactly make this decision, and did he coordinate with Israel?
The president, honestly, Kristen, I don't know that any of us knew exactly when the president made the decision.
Kristen, he doesn't tell us. He follows his instincts, and I follow my instinct not to ask him what he's up to. And what do you mean no one knows? You're the vice president. You weren't there when he made the call, and we know he doesn't trust his intelligence director. Was anyone there? We all remember that iconic photo of President Obama monitoring the operation to kill Osama bin Laden from the Situation Room with his team. What did this picture look like when Trump bombed Iran? Was it just him sitting there by himself? Alpha team, this is the president speaking. You have the green light. Dump the water on the magnets. But don't worry. Bring those tubes back. Bring those aluminum tubes back. Don't worry, J.D. Vance would like to assure you that this time things will be different from previous conflicts in the Middle East.
I certainly empathize with Americans who are exhausted after 25 years of foreign entanglements in the Middle East. I understand the concern, but the difference is that back then we had dumb presidents.
Yeah. Back then we had dumb presidents. Now we have a president who spelled his own name with a K. That was a yesterday. But guys, it works either way. J.D. Vance is right. Trump's no dummy. Just listen to the way he announced the strikes to the American people.
And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say, we love you, God.
Oh my God. He's talking to God the way you FaceTime with your parents. Hi, God, we love you. Love you, God. Can you see the Eiffel Tower behind us? It's like if you asked a goth teen what he thinks goes on in church. I don't know. They're probably all like, we just want to say we love you, God, or something. Sheep. He should write a book called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. But hey, say what you will about Trump. He's always made it very clear. If he became president, he would do lots of regime change. And I really hope the clip package we're about to roll doesn't undercut what I just said.
We must abandon the failed policy of nation building and regime change. The job of the United States military is not to wage endless regime change wars. We're not looking for regime change. We've learned that lesson a long time ago. We do not seek regime change. We do not seek regime change. We're not looking, by the way, for regime change. We're not looking for regime change. I just want to make that clear.
I'm against regime change, and I'll stick to that position like a magnet. Just make sure not to dump water on me, and oh God, here it comes. My magnetic powers! And now his team is trying to have it both ways. They're trying to defend the bombing while also claiming they're not angling for regime change.
This mission was not and has not been about regime change.
We're not at war with Iran. We're at war with Iran's nuclear program.
Yeah, duh. It makes total sense. It's like a husband who says to his wife, honey, I'm not in love with your sister. I'm just in love with the blue sundress she wore to our barbecue. Honey? But you heard the president's team. They made it clear this is not about regime change, that I'm sure the president listens to them and respects their opinion and won't immediately contradict them a few hours later.
President Trump is floating the idea of regime change in Iran.
He wrote, it's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? And then he wrote out MIGA.
Okay, first of all, MIGA is a horrible acronym. That sounds like how a 14-year-old Valley girl reacts when her boyfriend dumps her. Oh my God. Second, only Trump could take this moment to claim it's politically incorrect to say regime change, like the problem is woke culture and not him dropping bombs without even telling Congress about it. We used to be able to say regime change, but now they make us say leadership fluidity. It is very sad. The public was overwhelmingly opposed to any military intervention in the Middle East, which is why Trump is sending mixed messages and trying to have it both ways. He's trying everything to keep the pro-war and anti-war sides of his MAGA coalition intact. And if this doesn't work, next he'll say,
we're going to use magnets.
This has been A Closer Look.